Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into a book that's, well, it's practically legendary in the personal finance world.
It is.
Your Money or Your Life by VICKI Robin.
Classic.
It's been a bestseller for, gosh, decades now. And for good reason.
Yeah.
This book isn't just about like balancing your checkbook.
Right.
It's about aligning your spending with your values and finding, true fulfillment in life.
And that's what makes it so relevant, I think, even, decades after it was first published.
Yeah.
VICKI Robin, who's, she's a social innovator as much as she is a financial expert. She really digs into the why behind our spending habits. Why we do the things we do with money.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in that keeping up with the Joneses mentality.
Oh, tell me about it. I'll admit, there have been times when I felt that pressure to, buy the latest gadgets or, upgrade my wardrobe just to fit in.
Oh, absolutely. And that's exactly the kind of trap that Your Money or Your Life helps you avoid.
Okay.
One of the most powerful ideas in the book is how it challenges that get-ahead mentality.
Yeah.
That's so deeply ingrained in our culture,
It's like we're on this endless treadmill of working and spending. But are we really getting ahead? Or are we just, accumulating more stuff?
Well, and the book actually calls it jobism.
Jobism.
Yeah, it's this idea that our worth is tied to, our job titles and our paychecks.
Okay.
But here's the thing, right? Research has actually shown that more money doesn't automatically equal more happiness.
Really?
There's a point where that correlation, it just breaks down.
Huh. That's interesting. It makes me think about, those high school reunions where everyone's kind of subtly, or not so subtly, sizing each other up based on their careers.
It's true.
But what Your Money or Your Life really highlights is that true fulfillment, it comes from aligning your spending with what you value, not from chasing, some arbitrary income level.
Exactly. It's about defining what enough looks like.
Right.
And that looks different for everyone.
Yeah. There's that word, enough.
Yeah.
The book describes it as, and this is a quote, a wide and stable plateau. It is a place of alertness, creativity, and freedom.
I love that quote.
It really makes you stop and think, what does it actually mean to have enough in my life?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not about deprivation or living like a minimalist lifestyle.
Right.
Unless, of course, that's what truly resonates with you. It's more about being conscious of what you're bringing into your life and asking yourself, does this truly add value?
Yeah.
Or is it just another distraction from what really matters?
I know I'm guilty of that sometimes, getting caught up in the excitement of a sale or thinking I need something.
Oh, yeah.
When it's really just a want.
Absolutely.
There's this great line in the book. It really stuck with me. It says, almost everything we buy comes with a bit of unseen destruction somewhere else.
Wow. Yeah. That's such a powerful reminder of the hidden costs of our consumption. It's easy to forget about the environmental impact or the exploitation of workers, all the things that go into producing the stuff that we buy.
Yeah.
So it's encouraging us to be more mindful, more aware of those unseen consequences.
So we're starting to see the bigger picture here. It's not just about personal finance. It's about understanding the impact of our choices on ourselves and on the world around us.
Absolutely.
But how do we move beyond these, these big picture ideas and start making practical changes in our own lives?
That's where the rubber meets the road, right? That's where Your Money or Your Life introduces this really eye-opening exercise.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Tracking every dollar you spend.
Every dollar.
Every dollar. And then, here's the kicker, converting it into life energy.
Life energy. Okay, I gotta hear more about this. What is life energy?
So basically, you figure out how many hours you had to work to earn that money.
Okay.
So that latte you bought this morning, how long did you actually work to pay for it?
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, it puts things into a whole new perspective.
Yeah. Wow, that would definitely make me think twice before those, impulse purchases.
For sure.
But tracking every single expense, isn't that a bit, intense?
It can seem daunting, yeah. But it's worth it. The book shares this great story about a woman who she always thought of herself as financially dependent on her ex-husband.
Okay.
But when she started tracking her past earnings from all her various jobs, she realized that she had actually earned over $50,000 on her own.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like uncovering hidden treasure or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, tracking our spending on the things we buy, Your Money or Your Life. also encourages us to uncover all those hidden job-related expenses.
Okay, so like I'm picturing the obvious ones like commuting costs, right?
Sure.
But what else falls into that category?
Well, think about it. All those things you do to unwind after a stressful day.
Okay, yeah.
That glass of wine, takeout because you're too tired to cook.
It's true.
Even that expensive gym membership to blow off steam.
Oh,
Those are all costs, both financially and in terms of your time and energy, that are directly related to your job.
you're right. I never thought about it that way. It's like those expenses wouldn't even exist if I had a job that was, truly fulfilling.
Exactly. And that brings us to, I think, a really crucial question.
Okay.
What are your hidden job-related expenses? What are you spending money on just to cope with your work life?
I'm starting to realize those after-work takeout dinners, they really add up. And maybe those weekend getaways, those are my way of escaping a job that, honestly, I don't find truly fulfilling.
It's about taking a closer look at those patterns.
This is getting a little too real for me.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
Once you understand the true cost of your job, in terms of both money and life energy, then you can start making more conscious choices about your career and your spending. And that's where your money or your life really shines. It gives you the tools to make those choices.
So we're getting real with our spending, converting it to like life energy,
Yeah.
uncovering all those like sneaky job-related costs. It's eye-opening for sure, but
Yeah.
where do we go from here?
Well, this is where your money or your life kind of takes us from awareness to action. It's not enough to just track our spending, right?
Right.
We need to analyze it. We need to challenge it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we need to align it with what truly matters to us.
It's about getting intentional, right? Not letting our money just kind of slip away on autopilot.
Exactly. The book encourages us to ask ourselves some tough questions about every purchase we make.
Like what?
Like, did this purchase truly bring me fulfillment?
Okay.
Was it in line with my values? How would my spending change if work wasn't even a factor?
Those are some thought-provoking questions. I will say, for me, sometimes just thinking about those questions helps me, avoid those impulse purchases.
Totally. It's like you're holding up a mirror to your spending habits.
Yeah.
And through that process of reflection, you start to identify what the book calls gazingas pins.
Gazingas pins. Okay, I've got to ask. What in the world are gazingas pins?
So think of gazingas pins as those purchases that, they promise happiness,
Okay.
but they ultimately leave you feeling empty. They're those impulse buys, the things you buy out of boredom,
Yeah.
or to impress other people.
Right.
Those I'll be happy when purchases that never quite live up to the hype.
Oh, man. I'm picturing those, neon pink fuzzy dice I bought for my car in college.
There you go.
Total gazingas pin.
Exactly. We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
But by analyzing our spending through this lens of fulfillment and values, then we can start to, spot those gazingas pins in our own lives.
Yeah.
And redirect our spending towards things that truly matter.
So it's not about, depriving ourselves. It's about being more conscious, more intentional with our choices.
Absolutely. And when you start making those conscious choices, you naturally free up more money.
Okay, that makes sense. Which brings us to, I think, one of the most, exciting concepts in the book.
Oh, yeah.
The crossover point.
Yes.
This is where things get really interesting, especially for those of us who are, intrigued by the FIRE movement.
The FIRE movement, yeah.
Financial independence, retire early.
Right. For those who are maybe new to the FIRE movement, it's all about reaching a point where your investment income fully covers your living expenses.
Okay.
It's that beautiful moment when work becomes optional.
It's like reaching the summit of a mountain. You've put in the hard work, you've streamlined your spending, and now you have this freedom
Yes.
to choose your own path.
Exactly. And your money or your life, it shows you how to get there.
Okay.
It's not about winning the lottery or inheriting a fortune,
Right.
All right.
It's about making conscious choices with your money, saving diligently, and investing wisely.
But here's a question I have about the crossover point.
Yeah.
Doesn't reaching the crossover point mean you have to retire early?
That's a common misconception, for sure.
Okay.
Financial independence, it's not synonymous with early retirement. It's about having options.
Okay.
The beauty of reaching the crossover point is that you're no longer working because you have to. You're working because you choose to.
So it's about freedom and flexibility.
Exactly.
You could continue working if you love what you do, or you could, explore other passions, travel the world, or just enjoy more time with loved ones.
It's about aligning your life with your values, not with, a paycheck.
I like that. And that's a powerful place to be.
It is.
Okay, so let's say we've reached this like coveted crossover point.
Okay.
We're financially independent. We have all these options. What's next? How do we actually invest for a secure future? Well, that's where things can feel a bit overwhelming, for sure.
Yeah.
The world of investing, it can seem like a maze of like complex jargon and risky strategies.
Please don't tell me I need to become like a Wall Street whiz to like manage my own money.
No, not at all. Your money or your life, it advocates for a simplified approach to investing,
Okay.
focusing on strategies that are both effective and accessible.
Okay, that's a relief. But with so much like conflicting advice out there, where do we even begin?
Well, the book does a great job of breaking down those different investment options.
Okay.
And it highlights some like really inspiring success stories from people in the FIRE community who actually use these strategies to achieve financial freedom.
So tell me more about those strategies. What are some of the like key takeaways from the book when it comes to actually, investing our money?
Well, one of the most common threads you'll see in the FIRE community, and something Your Money or Your Life definitely emphasizes, is the power of index funds.
Index funds. Okay, those sound familiar, but to be honest, I'm not entirely sure I could like explain what an index fund actually is.
Yeah, they're actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Basically, an index fund is like a basket of stocks that tracks a specific market index.
Yeah.
Like, say, the S&P 500.
Okay.
Instead of trying to pick, individual winning stocks.
Right.
You're basically investing in the overall performance of the market.
So it's a way to diversify your investments without having to become a stock market expert yourself.
Exactly. And because index funds are passively managed,
Okay.
they tend to have way lower fees than actively managed funds, which, let me tell you, those fees can really eat into your returns over time.
That makes sense. Less money for Wall Street, more money for me.
Exactly.
All right, so index funds, that's a big one. What other investment strategies does the book recommend?
Well, real estate is another really popular option.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And for good reason. Your Money or Your Life actually features this great story about a guy named Scott Trench.
Okay.
He's a real estate expert, and he breaks down how investing in, even a small multifamily property like a duplex can generate passive income.
So you could live in one unit and then rent out the other to cover your mortgage.
Right.
Essentially like living rent-free.
Exactly. It's a great way to kind of build wealth and create a safety net for yourself.
Yeah.
And even if you're not ready to, become a landlord quite yet,
Right.
the book also talks about how investing in your own home, whether it's through, renovations or paying down your mortgage faster, can really pay off in the long run.
That makes a lot of sense. So we've got index funds, we've got real estate. What about something, I don't know, a little less traditional?
Well, Vicki Robin is a big proponent of aligning your investments with your values.
Yeah.
Just like we talked about with spending.
Right, yeah.
And she actually shares her own experience investing in renewable energy.
Oh, wow.
Specifically, a solar project that was happening on her island.
That's amazing. So not only is she making a positive impact on the environment,
Right.
but she's making a profit too.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it. You can actually use your money to support causes you believe in.
Yeah.
Whether it's, like you said, green energy or local businesses or even, donating to charities that are important to you.
Yeah, it's like taking all the principles from Your Money or Your Life, like mindfulness, intentionality, alignment with your values, and applying them to every aspect of your financial life.
Absolutely. It's about realizing that financial freedom isn't just about, having a fat bank account.
Right.
It's about having the freedom to actually live a life that's true to yourself.
I love that we've covered so much ground in this deep dive into Your Money or Your Life, from, challenging consumerism and defining what enough really means to uncovering hidden costs and actually reaching that crossover point.
Right.
It's been an incredible journey.
It really has. And it all starts with that awareness. Once you see that connection between your money, your time, and your values,
Yeah.
that's when you can start making choices that lead to, a more fulfilling, more meaningful life.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from our conversation?
That financial independence is within reach. For anyone who's willing to put in the effort.
Yeah.
It's not about, luck or privilege. It's about making conscious choices and, really taking control of your financial future.
And I don't know about you, but for me, this whole conversation has me asking myself, what would my life look like if I didn't have to work for money?
Right.
If I could spend my time doing whatever brought me joy and fulfillment? That's the question I hope our listeners keep asking themselves.
That's the power of this book, for
Okay.
sure. It helps you envision a different way of living.
Yeah,
And then it gives you the tools to make that vision a reality.
absolutely. If you're ready to, embark on that journey yourself, we highly recommend checking out Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin. It's a book that really has the power to transform, I think, not just your finances, but your entire outlook on life.
It's a classic for a reason.
It really is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Until next time, happy reading.